Hi, I'm Todd Burrier, and I'm obviously not a mom. I'm a dad, but my favorite person in the world is a mom. That would be my wife. But anyway, I know that you're busy. As a mom, you got so much to do. And so I'm going to keep this as brief as possible, but the information I'm going to share on this little quick video is so important because it's about kids. And kids in general are in serious trouble. And so without belaboring it, I'm going to jump right into some of the statistics about what's going on with kids and their health. First, cancer. The number 2 killer for kids ages 5 to 14 is cancer. The number 2 killer. 46 kids a day are diagnosed with cancer, and the scary thing is 1 in 5 of them will not live through it. Obesity has tripled in the last 30 years among children, and it's going up even faster now. ADD, 17 million kids have been diagnosed with ADD, and there's plenty more out there that are just a hair away from the diagnosis. Now, whether or not they actually have ADD doesn't really matter once they've been diagnosed and medicated. Asthma, 9.1% of kids have asthma, and that number is going up as well. Allergies, so many more have allergies. Autism, 78% increase in 5 years in autism. What? I mean, how does that happen? Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, digestive problems, they're all going up. These are kids. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, digestive problems in kids? It doesn't make any sense on the surface. So what happens when this occurs? This is one part of the stats. Well, the other part of the stats actually irritates me a little bit, maybe a lot of it. The pharmaceutical industry is looking at children, and this is a headline from a newspaper, as a growth industry. How does that make you feel? That they see your kids as an opportunity to profit, right? That's the way they're looking at kids are a growth industry, and you can't blame them. From a capitalistic perspective, you can't blame them, because medication for children is growing at 3 times the rate as for seniors. 3 times the rate as for people who've been on the planet 6 to 7 decades, who've had plenty of time to mess up their bodies. This doesn't make any sense. 6 to 10-year-olds have the greatest increase in medication use. ADHD drugs in a year went up almost 24%. Asthma, blood pressure meds, cholesterol drugs went up almost 11%. Think blood pressure medication for kids? Cholesterol drugs for kids? Come on, it's not right. Type 2 diabetes meds went up 150% in 9 years. Heartburn and GERD meds went up 147% in 8 years. This is like they're having trouble even eating right? Well, maybe that's the truth, right? Maybe it's because of what they're eating. The body's saying, hey, please get rid of that and give me something better. But the real issue right now that I just want to address is the problem with using drugs. You see, medications, there's a place for medications, right? If you're in a dire situation, yes, but not as a way of life, because drugs are like a toxic Band-Aid. What I mean by that is you put a Band-Aid on something, you're not fixing it, right? You're just covering it up. You're just making it manageable. That's what a drug does. It doesn't fix a kid's issues. So if they've got an issue at the age of 10, now that's just going to get worse the rest of their life. So we don't want to put a drug into it because you got all kinds of issues relative to that. The first is the simple one. 70 to 80% of drugs are designed for adults. Kids are not little adults. They're kids, right? Teenagers are teenagers. They're not, almost adults. They're still, their body's got all kinds of stuff going on. They don't need drugs. That just messes up the process. So that leads to side effects. There's 2 major parts to side effects. One, which you're probably pretty familiar with. That's the direct side effect. That's on the side of the label. That says, you get this, This might happen when you use this drug. And so you take the drug, and within a couple days, that's what happens. Why? Well, because you're forcing the body to do something it doesn't want to do, and so you get a side effect. That's what the body does, right? It says, okay, you're going to make me do that? Well, I'm going to do this. But the part B, the indirect side effect, that's the really nasty one that you wouldn't know it all about unless you did your homework or someone told you about. And that's the fact that drugs in general deplete nutrients from the body. And so here you have a growing body that has 29 essential vitamins and minerals they have to get at high levels in order for their body to develop properly and function properly, including their brain, and then we're blocking them with the medications. So you're depleting nutrients with drugs and also creating malabsorption or blockage of absorption with the same thing, which leads to new issues, right? You take a nutrient out of somebody's diet, they will die. That's the nature of it because you have to have it. It's essential. And so both Part A and Part B lead to more drugs. It's the perfect storm for the pharmaceutical community. No wonder they're looking at kids as a growth industry because they are, right? You get them on one med at the age of 6. How many are they going to be on at the age of 10? How many are they going to be on the age of 15? How many are they going to be on the age of 30? I'm sorry, this ticks me off, but just so you get some understanding, what happens when a child takes a drug? Let's talk about side effects for a second. So let's just play a little game. I want you to think about what it might be. So here's the side effect of this drug. Nausea, anxiety, insomnia, blood pressure problems, heart problems, headaches. I'm sorry, there's not many things that you should take to make something a little bit better that give you heart problems, right? But so what is this medication? The answer is, it's Ritalin, right? So let's calm them down a little bit and give them a heart attack. Okay, side effects: nausea, liver damage, diarrhea, fluid retention. So what's the magic drug? Diabetes meds, the ones that are going up 150%. Side effects: joint pain. You don't want a 10-year-old with joint pain. They need to be running around. Constipation, nausea, respiratory problems. That's breathing, right? We make it sound nice, respiratory. It's breathing. We're having problems breathing. Fatigue. You don't want a kid with fatigue. Oh, that's a cholesterol med, which blows my mind not to be on anyway. So those three, not very good. Side effects of this one: nausea, irritability, restlessness, heart problems, respiratory problems. It's pretty much the same as the other ones, isn't it? Oh no, because the drug is cocaine. You probably wouldn't put your child on cocaine. But if you did, you wouldn't be doing much more damage than if you put them on Ritalin. So now here's the last one: heart problems, increased blood pressure, muscle cramps, muscle spasms, kidney stones, migraines, sleep disorder, fatigue, immune problems, circulation problems. What's the answer? I tricked you on that one. That's just magnesium deficiency. You see, if I were to do deficiencies of nutrients, I could have filled up page after page after page after page, and it would look like the worst thing you've ever seen. And see, the ironic thing is, this happens from the deficiency of the nutrient. What happens? We end up putting a child on a drug because they're missing a nutrient. And as a result of the drug, they get the side effects. You see, it's just a nasty little game when it's not necessary. I'm not going to promote a product on this video, but I will tell you nutrients are the answer. I've helped and seen so many kids help. So find out what you can do. But I'll give you a couple of examples. I have a friend in Ohio. Her daughter frequently has issues or had issues with getting sick 2, 3, 4 times a year. Typical school situation. Went on a certain safe product. No drugs. Didn't get sick anymore. Maybe once a year. That's simple. Just a simple correction. Boom. Done. Had another friend, I just talked to her recently, whose 2 sons have allergies. Now she's divorced, and so she only has her kids half the time, and the husband didn't want to do anything about it. Just give them the medication, give them the medication, give them the medication. But even the medications weren't working, especially this year. And so the kids couldn't even go out, couldn't even play in their baseball games, couldn't play in the grass. She finally got him to use a certain nutrient that can help. Boom. 2 weeks later, kids are out mowing the lawn, playing baseball, being kids. No allergy meds, not suffering at all from any symptoms. Beautiful. Another woman, son diagnosed with ADHD that struggled with it for years. Finally had to agree after they tried certain supplements. They tried food modification, didn't work. Had to go on the drugs. The meds then made the child depressed, created all kinds of emotional problems. And then a little while later, they found out about a specialty nutrient, completely safe, just a really potent antioxidant. Started using that nutrient. Boom, all the symptoms started to subside. The teacher saying, hey, your son is doing so much better in school. He's so much more focused. He's enjoying the learning. At home, he was so much different. Why? Because his body got something it could use that wasn't a drug. And so now he feels better. There's so much you can do if you're just open to it. And you know what? You don't have anything to lose. Your kids, you want to give them the best opportunity you possibly can. That is not going to happen with drugs. That's going to make their life worse. You can give them simple nutrients that can make a huge difference. And the worst thing that would happen is it didn't help. And so then you use the meds while you keep searching. But don't put your kids on drugs. They're too important. Thank you for your time.